Well, our convicted criminal president has already broken a major campaign promise. Remember this one?
I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost. And there'll be no more bombing of Ukraine. There'll be no more bombing of Russia. And everybody will be happy.
So it's been well over 24 hours, and near as I can tell, the orange buffoon still has not put an end to the war in Ukraine. Actually, it's been more like 48 hours at this point. And he was never going to keep that promise. It was always ridiculous on its face. We all knew it was ridiculous. Yet the media treated it like it was a serious campaign promise. And they would ask sometimes, well, how would you do it? What's your plan? And he would just give his normal bullshit answer. Oh, well, it would be really easy. I just talk to them. I talk to Putin. I'd talk to Zelensky, and I'd come up with a deal. Nobody makes better deals than me. And this one would be so easy. I'd have it solved in 24 hours. And that was it. Never pressed him. I never saw reports about how ridiculous a promise this is. No editorials about how stupid anyone would have to be to believe this ridiculous promise. Nothing. They would just take his answer and report it. Oh, Donald Trump promises to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. Actually, let me play a little bit more of Donald Trump making these promises, because I want you to hear something else, and I'll have comments on the other side. Take a look at this.
Could end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours.
Yes, I could.
How would you do that?
I know Zelensky very well. It can be negotiated, I think, within 24 hours. It really has to be done from the office of the president, and you have to get them both in a room. And there are things you can say to each one of them, which I won't reveal now, which will guarantee that this war will end immediately.
On that to get it solved, I can do it in 24 hours. I know both players, and I can do that in 24 hours. But you can only do it from the office of the president. You need that. You need that seat. You need what's tailed in that seat, and I would have that done in 24 hours. It wouldn't even be tough. I know what to say to each of them, and there's no way they would reject it.
I will end that war in one day. It'll take 24 hours. I would have a deal done in 24 hours from the time we started. And I would tell Zelensky something, and I would tell Putin something, and I'd get him into a room, and I'd tell him again and again. I would have a deal done very quickly.
You know, so he repeated that promise over and over and over. He would solve the whole situation, end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, and it'd be real easy. But one thing that he said a couple times there that really rubs me the wrong way is that any solution would have to come from the office of the President of the United States. The arrogance implicit in that statement. I mean, if you ever wonder why so many people around the world in other countries really don't like the United States very much, have a dim view of us, it's crap like that. They don't like our arrogance. Where do we get off? And I know it's not us, it's this piece of shit. But this is how they see us. And you know what? It's not just him. We have sort of presented ourselves like this for quite a while. But to hear it so explicitly from this guy, where does he get off that only the President of the United States can solve a war between two other countries? They're not subservient to us. They're not our little children that we could just call in and read the riot act to. Now shake hands and make nice and go play in your room. No, these are other sovereign nations who are at war with one another. They're not going to just listen to us. Oh, the President of the United States wants us to end the war. Oh, I guess we ought to end it then. I mean, the sheer arrogance of that. And it's just really off-putting, I'm sure, to millions of people around the world. And I don't think it's at all helpful to us, to the United States, to have so many people around the world think we are just arrogant. And they you know, a lot of them, they don't want to have to treat the United States as if we're so damn important. And you know what? I think more and more countries are going to stop looking to us for leadership in the world. And they're going to start making other alliances and to say, to hell with the United States. We can't count on them. We're sick of their arrogance. Could you imagine if we were at war with another country and a former president of France was running for re-election and he made a campaign promise? Well, if you elect me as president of France, I will solve the war in America in 24 hours. And it would be so easy. I'm a deal maker. I'd bring in the United States and that other country they're at war with. And in 2 minutes, I'd have the whole thing worked out. And it can only be resolved through the office of the president of France. That's the only way that this is going to be solved, because France is so important. And America and that country they're at war with, they'll listen to me because they have to, because I'm the president of France and they're just subservient little children. They got to do what I say. So elect me and I will end the war in America in 24 hours. What would we think of that? Well, what do you think other people around the world think of us when our president says shit like that? So arrogant. And you know what? These countries would be smart to start moving away from the United States as the focus of leadership in the world. I mean, look what we have done. We are not a serious country anymore. We, 4 years ago, had a president of the United States lose an election and then attempt a coup and incited a violent insurrection for the purpose of overthrowing the government and installing himself, keeping himself in office illegally. That is a coup. The entire world saw it on TV. And what did the idiots in this country do? They re-elected that guy. They put him back in office. And now the entire world just saw that guy who attempted a coup, incited an insurrection against his own country. The whole world just saw that guy pardon all the people who attacked the Capitol. Why would any country around the world take us seriously anymore? And I'm sure that leaders around the world are having meetings behind our backs going, all right, we have got to start pulling away from the United States. We have to stop looking to them for leadership. We're going to have to do this stuff on our own. The United States is a joke. It's a banana republic. They cannot be relied on. They just reelected this jackass clown who's threatening everybody. Oh, he's going to go to war with Denmark because he wants Greenland. He's going to invade Panama. He's renaming the Gulf of Mexico. He's threatening people with tariffs all over the place. This is, it's not a joke. This is, the office of the president is a serious position. I know a lot of the people who voted for him don't really think so. They think this is all just fun and games. It's all just entertainment. There's no real world consequences. I'm going to vote for the guy who dances the jerk-off move on stage with the Village People. That's a lot more entertaining than that boring woman who just talks about policy. I'm going to talk about the guy who I'm going to vote for the guy who talks about eating cats and dogs. That I want 4 years of that. That's funny. I'll watch that. That's way more entertaining than listening to a politician talk about healthcare policy. I'm going to vote for that orange guy who dances. That's what I want. This whole country is a freaking joke. Not everybody, obviously. But enough. 49 point whatever percent of plurality re-elected this guy. So why would any country, anywhere in the world, take us seriously anymore? I mean, they have to, because we have the military that we have. We are the economic power that we are. And so for that reason, they have to take us seriously. But we are a joke around the world, an absolute freaking joke now. And it's going to do great long-term damage to the United States standing in the world. And it's going to do great damage to our own national security when countries justifiably start pulling back from their interactions with the United States, start pulling back from having the United States, be a leader in the world. They don't want to look to us for leadership anymore. And I guarantee you that that's going to happen. And we're going to see more and more of it going forward. And that's going to do great damage to the country. That's the result. You know, elections have consequences. That's what those people did to us. All those people who voted for Donald Trump, or who voted for wasted their vote on some third-party candidate because like a fucking child, they were upset about their pet issue not getting enough attention. Or they were just too lazy and didn't show up to vote at all. All of those people are responsible for this. And don't tell me about both parties suck. So what? Yeah, both parties suck. So what? They're not the same. It's not the same degree of suck. All right? One party is now not even really a political party. It's a personality cult, an increasingly fascist personality cult. The other is not. The other is just a party you think sucks. Well, so what? Oh, so what? They both suck. Well, here's the so what. You just voted for the insurrectionist. You just voted for the coup plotter who just pardoned all those people. Think there's no difference now between the two parties? Just keep watching. See what happens in this country now. See what happens to the U.S. economy with the tariffs. See what happens to our standing in the world with this fucking clown in the White House. And then tell me, oh, both parties suck. All right, I'm going to get out of this car before I pop a blood vessel. Later.